What's going on tonight, guys? So tonight is going to be something that we've been looking forward to, thankfully, just because now we have the rest of the car pretty much buttoned up to where we want it to be as of right now. So I need to get past the next major hurdle, which is the motor. So we need to start peeling off everything because I want to paint the valve, the timing cover up front here, which requires me removing the full dress, as well as we are going to change the oil pan gasket. Obviously, we're going to do the heads. We're going to do the intake. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So one thing I should say I want to get out of the way. Here is the PI intake that I took off. However, after taking off the aluminum crossover, which these are removable, the inner channels are completely junk. This is a fairly common issue with these, unfortunately, so we're probably not going to be using this intake. However, we are going to be using the other style of intake that I showed previously on my intake comparison video. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It is this design. So this is not, and I repeat, not a Dorman, okay? This is like a Crown Vic design, so like late, probably 02, 03, 04. It does have both ports, which we need for the MPI intake because there's two different sensors, as well as it's a nice deep intake. It's not quite as deep as the Ford Performance one, but short of us like taking RTV and like RTVing all around here, and like that's just so thin right there and so thin right there. I don't want to deal with that right now, unfortunately, so I'd rather just go with that one. So that's going to be the intake that we're going with, as well as here's the old AC compressor. Figured I'd pull it out because I need the bolts. We are going to be just putting on a pulley. As you can tell, car isn't going to probably have AC, more than likely, but you know what? We can always go back and change that later on. So one other thing I'd like to finally unveil to you guys that I've been very excited for, probably should have cleaned them up a little bit more, are these absolutely sick trick flow valve covers. Okay, they're super cool. They're cast. They're really cool. But then even better yet, Sammy actually painted up a BBK throttle body for us, and it looks awesome. She did a killer job. So that's going to be obviously the centerpiece right on top of the motor, with the brand new intake, valve covers, so on and so forth. So those are some cool things. Actually, a little bit more cool too. This whole build has history. So this was actually tapped for a distributor, oddly enough. So they were actually running basically a little distributor off of the timing, the cam gear right there, for like circle track or something. So pretty cool stuff, if I do say so myself. I'm very impressed, let's just put it that way. So we'll be working on that, but we need to get started tearing apart this motor, getting basically everything off that we need to get off. So we are going to be running a couple things that are not shown here. So we do have a different alternator pulley to go on. We're going to do underdrive pulleys, as well as a different water pump pulley and a different crank pulley. So it looks like the only thing on these, there's a couple of different, there's an early model and late model water pump that you need to pay attention to, as well as the harmonics do change over the years. 99 to 04 go to a later design, which is thicker than the thin design of this 97 water pump. So pretty straightforward. Also, additionally, the unfortunate thing is I already had a nice valve cover all ready to go, or I'm sorry, timing cover. However, because of the bosses for this whole apparatus of the coil pack, unfortunately, this one is totally different than the one I got off of the 99, I believe is what it was. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to use this one, but it's not a big deal. We can just simply pull everything off, and it should come off fairly simply. So, we're going to start working slowly since I'm going to try to transfer over a lot of things. We aren't going to be using these injectors. There was a misfire on one of them, and I'm almost positive that it's actually the injector and not anything else. But we're going to slowly transfer things over that need to be transferred over, just to make our lives much easier later on. So the very first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to remove all of the spark plug wiring, since it's not really going to be super useful, unfortunately. And we can leave that off until the motor's ready to go back together. We might paint up the brackets or something like that, but probably won't happen on camera, if I'm being honest, just because that's just some things that I can do in my spare time. So we'll get set up, and we'll start tearing into this motor, and we're going to go nice and slow to make sure that we've got everything 100% correct where it needs to go, and then we can come back to it and get it all correct at the very end. And just like that, we have a short block. So took the oil pan off, just cleaned up a couple of things, just kind of hit the side of it. We need to get all that gunk off, obviously, but the top looks good, the pistons look good. Honestly, overall, this motor looks absolutely great. For what it is, you know, this motor was never opened up from what I could tell. The timing looked really, really nice. If anything, the only thing that I'm very heavily considering just running this, but there is a little bit of a wear mark right there, and it's on both sides, but it hasn't worn through, so I might replace those arms. But beyond that, none of the plastic's cracked. There's nothing. There's a lot of people that say, oh, it's cheap insurance, it's cheap insurance, but like the new stuff just isn't as good. So there's plenty of people on these two valves that run them for 200,000 to 300,000 miles and don't have a single issue. So that's I'm gonna decide. I'll probably get new idler arms, or tensioner arms, I should say, just because those are the only things that I could see that really need to be replaced in the timing set. So I've read up multiple times. You don't need to change out the timing chains themselves. Actually, the new timing chains, people have more issues with new timing chains than old timing chains. So we're probably just gonna run the old timing chains. So, but beyond that, that's pretty much everything. I went ahead and separated everything and cleaned up, at least just got it out of the way so I at least have some walking room in here. But in all reality, the heads over there are about ready to go on. So really we'll need to come back up here, take a straight edge to all of the mating surfaces. I'm probably going to pick up some of the copper spray gasket as well, so I can spray both sides, spray the head gaskets, really give it the best possible contact patch that we can, and from there, I mean, that's pretty much it. So we'll degrease this block. We're going to probably paint it, I should have it right here. We're probably going to paint it this nice Ford blue. This is a VHT paint, works really, really well. So it'll go perfect, as you can see, with the throttle body. So it'll be a really nice, full, complete piece. And honestly, I mean, really, once that's together, the only thing that we still would have to change on this is I do have an oil pump for it, so that it's a high pressure, high volume oil pump, specifically to help fix the issue with the cam situation. But beyond that, we also have to replace the rear main seal, and then really I can throw this on the engine hoist. We can mount the flywheel, the clutch, just directly to the block, and then we can get going with one of these transmissions that I will explain in an upcoming episode. So thanks for joining us tonight. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, we'll go from there. The next step is rebuild, repaint, and yeah, we'll stop it right there. Catch you guys next time.